All the boxes were checked for Henrik Lundqvist. All the boxes were checked for Brian McClellan and the Caps. So it just made sense. The King is officially a Cap.
I have to say, Capitals, they checked every box when it comes to a team that understands winning. I know a few guys on the team. I played against a lot of the guys for so many years. I have the most respect for them. And I'm just very excited and grateful, actually, to join them.
Henrik's experience, his resume, his leadership ability, his desire to win. I think a lot of things were attractive to our organization to bring him in.
What's up, Caps fans? Welcome back to my YouTube page, which will support my podcast, the Capital Building Podcast with Rob Carlin. The details are still being worked out. In all honesty, we're just waiting on approval from Apple. Once we get that approval, you will be able to download the podcast however you download podcasts. And please remember to subscribe. And while you're here, subscribe down below to the YouTube page and then spread the word. Tell your friends. There's going to be great content on the Washington Capitals right here on my YouTube page and as well on the podcast. So what a busy, busy day. What a busy couple of days for the Washington Capitals as they wrap up their draft and they take this exciting young prospect, a little bit of a roll of the dice in Hendrix Lapierre, but they get a kid that they really like. And then, not a secret at all, we all knew this was coming, Henrik Lundqvist signs a 1-year, $1.5 million contract to join the Caps and not necessarily back up Ilya Samsonov. They are coming in expecting this to be a tandem, because when you have a future Hall of Fame goalie, you don't just hand the reins over to the kid with very little NHL experience. That would be stupid. And the participants in all of this and getting this deal done are anything but stupid, especially when it comes to knowing what to do with building a hockey team. And that's why Lundqvist decided to be here, and McClellan felt the time was right.
And I think the biggest thing is his desire to win a championship. I think it's a big deal for our organization and for him, and I think it's a good match overall.
Yeah, I think when you start a journey, you have to picture it happening first, right? So that's what I'm doing right now. I want to see myself lift that cup, and I want to do it in Washington. So I definitely see myself do it. I think that will be my motivation now, going into training every day and prepare for camp. And whenever camp starts, that will be on my mind. Obviously, that's the ultimate story. I remember watching that back in Sweden when it happened, and it was such a cool moment. But obviously, you don't want to put more pressure on yourself than you have to. Just use it as motivation and inspiration.
I see it as, we got a good young goalie and we got a great experienced goalie. Our goal as a team and as an organization is to win games this year and to compete for a championship. I would expect him to come in and compete as hard as he can, and coaches will make decisions based on how guys are playing and us winning games and what's best for our team.
I'm going to work as hard as I can, and whatever my role will be, that's up to the coaches. So I know, I have an opportunity to play if I do really well, but I also understand, Washington has a really young goalie in Samsonov, great goalie, played really well last year. So I embrace the whole thing, coming there and try to help and support him, but obviously also perform really well. So whatever the role will be, I'm ready for it.
It's going to be odd, though, after so many classic battles, epic playoff battles that almost always went in favor of Lundqvist and the New York Rangers. It's going to be weird now to see Lundqvist and Ovi teamed up together. Lundqvist actually reached out to Ovi and made a phone call, talked to him about joining the team, get the pros, get the cons. He loves the room. He loves the professionalism. He loves how tight a group they are. But he didn't tell Ovi he ain't getting in front of that one-timer. He did that enough in his career. He's not doing it once they start practicing together.
It's kind of crazy. Like you just said, it's been so many years of battles, and I have so much respect for him, for what he's accomplished. He's one of the toughest players to stop. There's no way around it. You look at his record; it speaks for itself, and it's been so much fun too to go up against him for so many years. It was funny to call him the other day, and he's been so fun to play against because how good he is, but he's also a character on the ice. So I look forward to now be on the same team. And the one thing I told him though is I won't do any one-time drills with him because his shot is just way too hard. So I already put myself out of that one. But they have so many skilled players. But obviously Ovi with all the years playing against him, I definitely look forward to be on the same side now.
But while Lundqvist is coming in, the other side of that means Braden Holtby is on his way out. This is the tough part of the business. We all knew this was coming. We all kind of mentally were able to get our arms around this, our thoughts around this. Look, this guy was part of the core that accomplished so much in DC. They won a Stanley Cup. He won a Vezina trophy. He made the save, the ultimate moment other than when Alex Ovechkin was presented the Stanley Cup. And maybe even bigger than that, he stood up for what he believed in. He became important in the DC community, even though there was blowback on that. Even though he may have cost himself some fans, he always did what he felt was right. This is a grown man, unfortunately, having to make a grown man's decision, and he joins the Vancouver Canucks on a 2-year deal. Interesting. We thought a couple of years ago, Holtby was trending towards one of those 6 or 7 year deals at $8 or $9 million. Those days are not going to happen for goalies anymore. So he joins Jay Beagle in Vancouver as a Canuck with nothing but fond memories of his time with the Caps.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost 10 years. So that was home. So it's, just the people there that we've met, the team, organization, the amount of ups and downs we went through. It's experiences that I'll never forget. It's always going to hold that special place in my family's heart. And it's tough to leave any situation like it is, but that's life, and you move on and you just look at the positives, and you really appreciate that experience and use those experiences to go forward too.
The Lundqvist move wasn't the only move the Caps made, though. They also went back into their old bag of tricks. Remember a few years ago when they needed to kind of stabilize the room and bring professionalism and a winning atmosphere in the room? They went to Pittsburgh to get that done. They brought in Brooks Orpik and Matt Niskanen. They're trying for that magic again. Bring in Justin Schultz to a 2-year deal. $3 million in the first year, $5 million in the second year, so an AAV of $4 million. He's only 29 years old. He had a monster season when he joined Pittsburgh that really helped them win the first of their back-to-back Stanley Cups. He's good on the power play. He's got a good shot. He's going to fill in that role as the second defense behind John Carlson on the right side ahead of Nick Jensen, so it fills a big need for them. And Brian McClellan thought the fit just made sense.
Talking to Peter, you could try him with both Dylan and Orly. And I mean, we got some flexibility now. I think we really like his offensive potential, his ability to join the rush, ability to quarterback a power play. I think Peter's teams activate defense aggressively. And so we were trying to find a guy that fit that bill for him.
It'll be interesting to see if the Caps do anything else because they don't have much money. Brian McClellan was asked if he thought he could do something. He said he'd like to keep exploring other options as they come up, and he'll take it as far as it can go. When asked what those moves were, he said, I don't know yet, but he's certainly going to listen and make some phone calls, anything to make this team better, because as we know, he views this team and this window as still open, but closing. So he's going to do whatever he feels is necessary to try and win another Stanley Cup. Is to re-sign Jonas Siegenthaler. Don't know what kind of money will leave left over for another defenseman, but Brian McClellan has usually been very creative in finding ways to get things done and bring in the bodies that he feels will make this team better. So look, not every move has been great. You can certainly second guess and sometimes even first guess, because there were moves that he's made that we thought, I don't know about that one. But it's kept the team competitive now, and we'll see if these moves will equate to another run, a legitimate run at a Stanley Cup. Only time will tell on that. Thanks so much for tuning in here. Remember, please like, subscribe, and look forward to the announcement of the actual podcast, the Capitol Building Podcast, part of Blue Wire Podcast. The announcement on that is coming soon once Apple gives the approval to the pod. So thanks so much for tuning in. We'll talk again, and let's go Caps.